Right. So are you ready to dive into this book you sent us?
Absolutely. I'm really curious about this one.
Yeah, it's called Memory of the Unborn.
Oh,
And it's a thriller,
okay.
but it's set in the future, like 2041.
Oh, wow.
And it's got all this Hindu mythology woven into it.
That's a really interesting combination.
It is. It's really unique. And it all centers around this character named Om Shastri.
Okay. I'm intrigued already.
So just picture this.
Okay.
It's 2041. You're in this like super high-tech facility, and Om,
Mm-hmm.
who claims to be thousands of years old, thousands, yeah, is being interrogated, and he starts telling these stories about his past lives,
Wow.
name-dropping figures like Chanakya,
Oh, wow.
Sushan, even Parashuram.
Okay, so it sounds like it's going to be pretty deep into Hindu mythology.
It gets deep.
Right.
And it's not just name-dropping either.
Okay.
He claims to have actually been these people like living through different yugas.
So for people who might not be familiar with that term, could you explain what yugas are?
Yeah, so in Hindu cosmology, yugas are these vast cycles of time.
Okay.
And we're not talking like a few hundred years here.
Right.
A single yuga can last for millions of human years.
Wow. That's hard to even imagine.
It is. I mean, if Om's telling the truth, he's basically witnessed everything.
The rise and fall of civilizations, the whole evolution of humanity.
It's mind-blowing.
And the book really explores what that kind of lifespan would mean, right?
Yeah.
The knowledge he'd have, but also the burden of those memories.
Exactly. So let's talk about Om himself for a second.
Okay.
What kind of person is this guy who supposedly lived for millennia?
Yeah.
Well, the book describes him as super unassuming.
Really?
Yeah. Simple clothes, Rudraksha rosary, matted hair.
Not exactly what you'd picture for an immortal being.
I know, right? But maybe that's the point the author's making.
You think so?
It challenges our expectations, you know? Like maybe immortality is hidden in plain sight.
It makes you wonder.
And then there are his abilities.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that.
He can sense things beyond normal human perception.
Like what?
Predict the weather from a sealed room, like he's tapping into something we don't understand.
I mean, is he delusional? A master con artist? Or is there actually something more to it?
Those are the big questions, right?
And the investigation in the book gets into all that.
Yeah, they've got this whole team trying to figure out what to make of Om.
So, like, scientists, doctors.
Doctors, scientists, a historian, even a tech whiz.
Wow, a real diverse group.
And at first, they're all super skeptical.
Of course, they're dealing with something that completely upends their worldview.
Exactly. They're looking for explanations that make sense to them.
Mental illness, split personality.
But then things get really interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
So LSD, the tech expert, she starts digging into Om's past. And she finds all these different identities linked to him.
Wait, really?
People from different time periods, all with the same face.
Whoa, it's like he slipped through the cracks of history.
Right. And suddenly the investigators have to confront this possibility.
That maybe he is who he says he is.
Exactly. It really amps up the suspense.
So how do they react?
You've got some clinging to scientific explanations.
Right.
Others starting to entertain the impossible. It creates a lot of tension.
It's a clash between logic and the unknown.
And then Om starts recounting his stories.
Oh, this is where it gets good.
He begins with his time as Sushan, the healer from the Trita Yuga.
Okay, and he actually claims to have saved Lakshman's life using Amrit Sanjeevani.
That's right. Remember that name, Amrit Sanjeevani.
So he's not just recounting the story, he's saying he was there.
He was there when Hanuman brought back the entire mountain to find the herb.
Wow, it makes the Ramayana come alive in a whole new way.
Like you're seeing it through his eyes.
It makes you wonder if these stories we call myths might have some basis in reality.
And then he jumps to his time as Chanakya, advisor to Chandragupta Maurya.
So he's shaping an empire.
Then Vidur, offering counsel in the Mahabharata.
It's like he's woven into the fabric of these epic tales.
It's amazing.
So how does the book explain how he's able to do all of this?
That's where the Amrit Sanjeevani comes back in.
Okay, so it's more than just a mythical herb.
It's the key to his immortality, a doorway into a realm we don't understand.
And this is where we meet Tanvantari, right?
Yes, also known as Kasaraja, the sage, who Om says revived him using the Amrit Sanjeevani.
Sort of like a father figure to him.
Exactly. He's the one who gave him this gift. Or maybe curse of immortality.
That's a great question.
It's interesting how Om describes him.
How so?
Not just as a healer, but a master of knowledge, someone who understood the interconnectedness of everything.
Like the Amrit Sanjeevani is more than just a herb, it's a deeper understanding of the universe.
And speaking of knowledge, there's a connection here that I find fascinating.
Oh, what is it?
Dhanvantari had another disciple, Sushruta, who compiled the Sushruta Samhita
The ancient medical text.
that laid the foundation for surgery as we know it.
Wow, so could there be a link between this ancient wisdom and the secret of immortality?
It's definitely something to think about.
What if modern medicine is missing something? Like there's this whole layer of knowledge we haven't tapped into.
What a mind-blowing idea.
It is, but the book doesn't just focus on the good side of this knowledge.
You're right.
Om also recounts a betrayal, an attack by another disciple named Nagendra.
He's obsessed with obtaining the Amrit Sanjeevani for himself.
It shows the danger of this kind of power.
The jealousy, the greed, the desire for control.
So Om has to escape.
And then he spends millennia wandering, adopting new identities, witnessing history.
All while searching for Kasaraja.
It ties into the book's title, Memory of the Unborn.
He's carrying the weight of all these lives, all this knowledge.
And it raises the question, what is the true cost of immortality?
It's a question that's been asked for centuries.
But this book really makes you feel it.
You're right, it's not just an abstract concept anymore.
And then just when you think you're starting to grasp the scope of Om's story, this whole other layer of the thriller kicks in.
Oh no, what happens?
This mysterious old man appears, the one who orchestrated Om's capture.
And what does he want?
He wants the second half of the Amrit Sanjeevani formula.
The second half.
And he's willing to do whatever it takes to get it.
So we've gone from ancient history and philosophy to a present-day chase.
It's a wild ride, and we're only just getting started.
I can't wait to hear what happens next.
Me too, but for now, we'll leave you hanging. In part 2, we'll unpack that mystery man, delve into Dr. Srinivasan's shocking secret, and explore what happens during that crazy raid on the facility.
Last time we left off with quite a cliffhanger.
Yeah, Om escaping with that book.
Leaving all this destruction and so many questions.
It was intense. And speaking of the book, you remember what it actually was?
Oh, right. It wasn't like some secret diary or anything.
It was the Sushruta Samhita.
The ancient medical text.
It makes you think.
It does. It connects back to Dhanvantari and his disciples.
Right. One spreading the knowledge of healing.
The other entrusted with the secrets of immortality.
So is the Sushruta Samhita just a medical textbook?
Or could it hold clues to the Amrit Sanjeevani?
It's a good question. Maybe modern medicine is overlooking something.
What if there's a whole layer of understanding in those ancient texts?
A layer we haven't even begun to decipher.
Exactly. It's fascinating.
And then there's that mysterious old man pulling the strings.
We still don't know who he is or what his end game is.
He clearly wants that second half of the Amrit Sanjeevani formula.
But why? Just to live longer? Or is there something more to it?
I keep thinking about the lengths he went to.
Yeah, the manipulation, that whole elaborate raid.
It's like he's desperate, wouldn't you say?
Like he's running out of time?
Maybe literally.
That's an interesting thought. What if it's not about greed, but survival?
What do you mean?
Maybe he needs the complete formula to counteract some side effect of the Amrit Sanjeevani.
Or maybe he's facing a threat that only immortality can protect him from.
Right. There could be something else going on entirely.
It makes you rethink his motivation.
It does. Let's talk about those other immortals for a second.
Oh yeah, Parashuram and Ashwatthama.
They really make an entrance.
Their appearance in that raid scene, I was not expecting that.
It adds a whole other dimension to the story.
It goes from Om's personal quest to this epic clash of ancient forces.
And they're not just mindless brutes?
No, they have their own agendas.
Their own reasons for getting involved.
It makes you wonder, are they protectors? Manipulators?
Something in between.
And how does Om navigate this world of immortals and hidden agendas?
It's a lot to handle.
It makes you think immortality might not be all it's cracked up to be.
Imagine carrying the weight of millennia.
Witnessing countless cycles of history.
Experiencing love and loss on an unimaginable scale.
The book really digs into the emotional and philosophical weight of it all.
Like, is there a point where life loses its meaning, no matter how long it is?
Or does each new experience, each new connection, make it richer?
It's a big question. And Memory of the Unborn doesn't give us easy answers.
But it does make you think.
It grounds these abstract concepts in Om's experience.
Let's go back to some of those experiences for a moment.
Like his time as Sushin.
Yes, saving Lakshman with the Amrit Sanjeevani, the desperate search for the herb.
It makes the Ramayana feel so real.
And then his time as Chanakya, advising Chandragupta Maurya.
Shaping an empire.
He's not just observing history, he's actively shaping it.
It makes you think about the impact our choices have.
especially choices made centuries ago by someone who's lived through it all.
And through it all, there's this thread of longing for connection.
Searching for his father, Kasiraja.
The one who gave him immortality.
It's like he's looking for someone who understands him.
Someone who can help him make sense of it all.
It speaks to that basic human need for belonging.
Even with immortality, he's still searching for something.
It makes you wonder, is there anything that can satisfy a soul that's lived for thousands of years?
That's a deep question, and the book doesn't really answer it.
But maybe that's the point.
Mm.
The journey itself is important.
Even if it spans millennia.
Right. And speaking of journeys, remember how that raid on the facility ended?
Chaos, destruction, Om escaping with the Sushruta Samhita.
It was wild.
That reveal about Dr. Srinivasan, the immortals appearing out of nowhere.
It felt like the whole story got flipped on its head.
What stood out to you the most?
I think realizing we're only seeing a small part of something much bigger.
There are forces at play we don't fully understand.
A hidden history intertwined with these ancient beings and this quest for immortality.
And Om is right in the middle of it.
He's a product of this ancient knowledge, but also a seeker of its origins.
A bridge between the past and the present.
It makes you wonder, will he find what he's looking for?
Will he escape that mysterious old man?
What will happen to the Sushruta Samhita?
So many questions.
We're left with more questions than answers.
But that's what makes this story so compelling.
It sparks our curiosity.
Challenges our assumptions.
It leaves us wanting more.
Exactly. In part 3, we'll explore those unanswered questions.
Delve into the book's ending.
And discuss what it all means for you, the listener.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We really have ancient history, immortality, Hindu mythology.
Memory of the Unborn has taken us on quite a journey.
The author did such a great job weaving all these elements together.
It's really impressive. But as we wrap up,
Mm-hmm.
I keep coming back to that question of where it all began.
The origin of the Amrit Sanjeevani.
If Kasaraja used it to give Om immortality,
Right.
where did he get it?
It's like a chicken and egg thing almost.
Who was his teacher?
The book kind of hints at this long lineage of knowledge,
Going way back.
like a secret history running parallel to our own.
And Om, with his thousands of years of experience, is right in the thick of it.
He's a product of this ancient wisdom.
But he's also searching for its source.
He's both a student and a teacher.
It makes me think about memory and how it shapes who we are.
It's such a huge part of our identity.
Om has lived countless lives, experienced things we can't even fathom.
How do you even process that much information, that much emotion?
The book doesn't shy away from the weight of it.
No, it doesn't.
For Om, immortality isn't just living longer.
It's carrying the weight of history,
The sorrow of countless losses.
the echoes of all those forgotten lives.
Yet he's still searching for connection.
It's a fundamental human need.
His quest for Kasiraja isn't just about knowledge.
It's about finding someone who understands.
Someone who can share that burden.
It makes you wonder if anyone can truly understand what he's gone through.
Even another immortal.
It's a lonely existence in a way.
And the book doesn't give us a clear answer.
No, it leaves us with that question.
Speaking of the ending, it's not exactly a neat resolution.
It's very open-ended.
We leave Om still on his quest,
Escaping with the Sushruta Samhita.
leaving a lot of chaos in his wake.
And so many unanswered questions.
I appreciate that the author doesn't try to tie everything up.
It feels more realistic that way.
Om's journey is far from over.
He's still searching, still seeking.
Trying to make sense of it all?
But there's a sense of hope, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely.
He hasn't given up.
He's still driven by that desire to understand,
To connect, to find meaning.
even after all this time.
And that's what resonates with me the most, I think.
Me too. That search for meaning is universal.
Whether you've lived for a century or a millennium,
It's what makes us human.
I think the book really drives that point home.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Memory of the Unborn,
Mm-hmm.
what are you still thinking about? What questions are still lingering?
It definitely gave me a lot to ponder. The possibilities of ancient knowledge, what it really means to live forever.
It challenges our assumptions.
Makes you think about things in a new way.
And that's the power of a great story, isn't it?
It sparks our curiosity, pushes us to grow.
And leaves us with a sense of wonder.
If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend Memory of the Unborn.
It's a journey you won't forget.
It really makes you think.
And that's what we love to do here on The Deep Dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.